Welcome to the broadcast. It's football, baby. Are you ready for some football, Willie?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, man. We are live on the rebuttal. And before we get started, we're going to go ahead and just shoot the show real quick. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can hear Christopher-Hugh clap back at all these jacks on the internet. The rebuttal. There's some business first. Welcome to the rebuttal. My name is Christopher-Hugh, and we got Willie Zimmerman here with us today. Willie, it is a lot going on. There's so much to talk about in the NFL, just everything going on just around the NFL period. Well, tell me how you feeling today, man. What do you feel? What's your vibe? Just all the things going on. There's so many topics that you can just look at.
You know, to be honest with you, I took the weekend off thinking that I would catch up, but that didn't happen. But today I wanted to watch a couple of ball games just to get back into the spirit. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, and right now it's raining, and so I don't know what to do. But it's not. It's this is still preseason, so I'll go back and watch it either late tomorrow night or Tuesday or something like that, just to say I watched something. But I'm ready.
Well, man, I'm ready too. I think to get this topic started off right, I was really taken away. Obviously, we've been watching football for so many years, man, and we're very passionate about the sport. We're passionate about watching it. We are professional football watchers, analysts, sitting at home, baby, and just taking it all in. And we have a right to talk about the NFL. We have a right to give our opinions because we're paying for our subscriptions at home, and we're getting all the things ready to watch the game, getting the fellas over in the man cave. So, but the thing that hit me the most, Willie, was the thing that Jim Irsay was talking about when it came to Jonathan Taylor. And I actually do have some feedback. So I just want to see what he said, and I think this deserves a revisit here. About what he said here was really appalling, and hopefully I can just find this video for us real quick.
Let's listen to it.
Let's listen to this video, and hopefully I have it. Jim Irsay here. Where is this video here? Oh, I was supposed to have this here ready here. Let me see. Stephen A. And here we go right here. So here's Rich Eisen talking about Jim Irsay right here, and I have it.
Taylor's learning a very hard lesson in the National Football League. It's a leverage league. The people that he deals with are very into leverage. If they have it, they will use it. If they don't have it, they will seek it, and potentially, they might just do away with it. It's rare if they have the leverage on you that they will not exact it. As you know, I'm
gonna fast forward this a little bit.
I don't think there is,
and get into basically what Jim
you're going
said.
to get paid.
We're gonna fast forward
for your services, Indianapolis. Sending a trade.
Our work is now.
Here we go, right here.
I mean, if I
Robert has since sent me the text. Pardon me. He texted me a screen grab of it. There is an exclamation point after October.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't added for effect by Albert.
We got to work on our engineer here.
And I've seen it. Not only is he not intending to trade him, but he went, as is Jim Irsay's want, deep. He went existential. He went celestial. He shuffled off everybody's mortal coil. That's how much he's not going to trade this kid or pay him. Hit it.
Here we go.
I mean, if I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor's out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. I mean, we know that. The National Football rolls on. It doesn't matter, who comes and who goes. And it's a privilege to be part of it. And now's the time, for us to do our work. Now's the time as an organization. And, players that are, 24, 25 years old, now's the time to seize the moment of greatness.
So, Willie, just tell me you go ahead and run with this one here. How do you feel about this comment?
As you well know, Christopher, I'm a little of a conservative, and so in some small way, I agree with him from the standpoint that we're not going to be here very long, and so the NFL presumably is going to last a long time.
Agreed.
These 20 to 25-year-olds, they get in the league, they play 5 years, and lo and behold, they're out of the league, but the NFL still goes on. But he said something that really jarred my thinking. He said, hey, I think he said 24 to 25-year-old, and and then they're out of the league, and I'm thinking, well, that's sort of their prime time. That's the time that they really should be making the big bucks. So I don't know necessarily why he made that statement, but I would be interested in hear more about it. If you've got any thoughts on it.
Well, I think the thing that's troubling is, to your point, we are going to, be out of our sport, out of our jobs at some point in our lives. I mean, obviously, that's what we work for. We raise our kids, and at some point. But at the same time, whether we're going to be out of the sport or a job in life, we always want to be appreciated about our contributions and what we provide to the sport, what we provide to the team, what we provide for our families. And I think that's important. Nobody wants to be viewed as somebody that's less important. So it bothers me because, if this is the best player on his team and he's downgrading his value in his words, and then wanted to come back and say he wasn't talking about John Taylor is bothersome, because if he feels that about his best player, what does he feel about all his other players? And I'm just curious of how this may kill the morale of the team for this upcoming season. This is going to be very important about the morale of the team by Jim Irsay saying, the league goes on, which is true, but that's just something that shouldn't be aired because we already know that the league does go on.
Well, Rich Eisen made a very interesting comment before we listened in on the clip. He said that Jim Irsay, what did he say? Leverage?
Yes, he says the NFL has leverage.
Okay.
And Jonathan Taylor's, go ahead.
When he says leverage, that makes me think politics from the standpoint that, hey, if I've got leverage over you, I can control you politically within the NFL, that is. Meaning that, hey, if I need for you to play at a substandard salary, then guess what? You're going to get a substandard salary. Or if I want to keep you and ensure that the team is utilizing all of its resources, hey, I might want to pay you a little bit more just so that you don't come up 2 or 3 years later and say, hey, I want to leave or I want more money. So leverage, it can both help you and hurt you. And you're well aware that, if somebody tries to use some leverage upon you, you're gonna do whatever you can to, get away from it. So I don't know why he would make that statement other than that, hey, it's a part of the league.
Well, I agree, and I don't want to belabor the comment, but it is a part of the league. But he has an organization that he's building and he's cultivating, and if anything, he wants everybody on that team to feel like a family. Everybody on that team, he wants them. The most important thing, you want to build camaraderie. You want to build a family atmosphere. You want to build you also want to build that everybody's there together. Everybody is needed. And the most important thing is that, my son, you matter. You know, that's the first thing when I think about my show, the three things: you matter, trust the process, put God first, but you matter. And Jim Irsay failed to say that publicly. And I don't care what you say, when you go out here and you work your tail off and you work your butt off, right? And then the owner of the team comes up and says, hey, this league goes on. Take it or leave it, buddy. Well, maybe that's some tough love, but it's also saying that, do I really matter? Do I really want to put my health on the line? Do I really want to give it my all for this guy? Because I'm 23. And then if you see the heading right there, the sweet years of running backs is between the ages of 23 and 27, 28 years old.
Yeah.
So shouldn't we pay? You know what? I don't have a problem with us paying for the running backs that are rushing over 1,000 yards a season. They've proven it, right? I think those are the years that you should pay them. Now, after those years, they're still with the team. Hey, it's a pay cut, but they're just as important as the quarterback, as the wide receiver, because they're trusted with the ball. And the point that you made today was very important. I didn't think about. Number one, they have to protect the quarterback. Isn't that one of the biggest things when you think about a running back? Can he pass block? So now we're paying the quarterbacks millions of dollars. And he is only as important as the running back blocking for him, the offensive line blocking for him, so that wide receiver that you're paying can get open.
Are you suggesting that quarterbacks should never block for the running back?
I'm not suggesting exactly. So yeah, so the quarterback he's doing his job, but everybody has an equal responsibility. And I don't like the conversation of us minimizing the pay of running backs. Well, it's unfair. It's an unfair conversation. It's an unfair train of thought. They're just as important, and they should be equally paid. Now, not as much as the quarterback, but not $10 million a year. I think an average for a running back, if the quarterback is getting paid, what's the average? 25 million a year for the quarterback?
If that.
Yeah, 25 now. I mean, it's going up.
So that's your high end. That's your high end rate.
Well, no, I think the franchise tag is about 36 or 37 million.
Oh, is it that much now?
Yeah, it's that much. So
okay.
Yeah, it's up there. It's in the 30s. So it could be a little bit more. I think it's 40 something, to be honest with you. The last time I looked at it.
You know something. You talked a few minutes ago about trust, and I think that's one thing that we haven't really delved deep into, because the running back is trusting that his owner, his management is going to treat him the way they would want to be treated, and then you got management is trusting that, hey, I'm paying this guy millions of dollars, he's going to perform. Well, when you've got trust only going one way, how does that make the relationship? In other words, management is obviously not getting from the running back what they're expecting, because, hey, either they're, like you say, they're not showing any gratitude, or they're not showing the player, hey, we really believe that you're it for us, and therefore we're willing to pay you.
Yes.
Okay. And then the flip side, okay, the running back is saying, "Hey, I'm not feeling it. I don't, you know, I'm not getting that family vibe, and therefore I'm not gonna put out. I'll I'm not gonna give my 100%. I'll give enough to satisfy the quote unquote status quo, but then I'm not gonna give my all. But you and I as fans, we want to see high level football play. We don't want to
Exactly.
see passive or substandard football where you're just there collecting a check.
Exactly.
Because whether we pay for it at the
To
game or
trade
not, we
Jonathan Taylor.
still are putting our eyeballs
For
there
me
at the
personally,
television.
yes.
Exactly. Hey, Will, I want to move to this next comment with Steve. Sorry to interrupt you. I meant to put it on pause, but I want to go to this next segment right here where Stephen A. and Swagoo is talking on the on the topic as well. I guess they took my slogan out there, NFL running backs playing running back. So let's see what they're saying out here.
Because I think what Jim Irsay said publicly was very disrespectful, even though we know owners think that way in the NFL. But I think just from a personal standpoint, as a player, you would like to think that we have some type of rapport and respect, not to say these things out loud. I mean, you could take away from what Jim Irsay said, like Jonathan Taylor has no value to him or the Indianapolis Colts. And I think that's the most damning thing by what he said sitting on a golf cart talking to reporters when one of your best players is looking to be compensated for the work that he's put in. So should they trade him? Yes, because it would do Jonathan Taylor a favor. He wouldn't have to play for an ownership that doesn't respect the fact that he's doing what he's doing at the position because he's replaceable and we'll go on without him, with or without him. And let me say this too. Jim Irsay's throwing himself in there about if he died, the league will go on. That don't change anything about the energy you directed towards Jonathan Taylor. That's not what he should have had to hear publicly from the owner of the team that he's looking to be compensated for the work that he's put in. We've had a saying in the NFL forever. Your tape is all you have. The film is what your leverage is. And as a player, that's your thought process. And we know what running backs are going through. We know how they're being undervalued or not even valued at all. But for Jim Irsay to come out and say that about Jonathan Taylor, a player putting in work in the offseason, battling through injuries there every day, I don't think this dude had missed a practice in his career until he was injured with the Indianapolis Colts. And for you to talk about a guy publicly like that who cares about the game that much symbolizes that you don't care about how much he cares about the game that much. That's why I think they should trade him. Now they won't, because he'll flex his muscle as an owner and he'll let Jonathan Taylor know, I control where you go and what you do in the future, which is what the league has been, but it's damn sure unfair, and yeah, they should trade him.
Okay, Willie, I'm gonna pause it right there because I want to come back to this. We're gonna come back because we're gonna look at all three of what these guys are saying here. Okay, I hate to say this because I feel like sometimes we throw a race card out there, and sometimes we lose the conversation over race, but I'm not going to throw a race card out there, but I want to throw white supremacy and ownership and flexing your muscle on. I don't believe that owner would say that about Tom Brady.
True.
I don't believe that owner would come out there and say that about Peyton Manning.
I agree.
I don't believe that owner will come out there and say that about Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think a coach would have that in their mindset just to say those things publicly. Now, we know the issue with John Gruden and some of the things that he said in email, and obviously that's behind closed doors or on email, and even saying it in that arena is still ignorant. There's some ignorance there, and we don't have to bring all that up, but at the same time, we're just going through a phase where the sensitivity and the respect is gone, even on a higher level. And it's a shame that the politics is coming into the game, and the race and the behavior that we see in the world is being infiltrated in our attitudes and the things that and how we're carrying on our business.
Well, I agree with most of what you just said, but here's something else too. Who is Jim Irsay? Is he not the owner?
Yes, he's the owner.
Okay. Is he not the one sitting at the top, making all the key decision as to whether or not, we have enough resources to win? And then, of course, enough resources to say, hey, we need to bring this amount of revenue in. And of course, we have to pay out this kind of money. No doubt he's got probably a big board with everybody's salary on it and say, hey, I need to be able to do this, and this. And that's just at the high level. Sometimes executives say things that they don't necessarily want to say, but they say it thinking that, okay, everyone will understand me. And I'm beginning to think that that's possibly what Jim Irsay has done here, because if he were a smart person, he will not say anything negative about Taylor.
Correct.
I mean, that would just be wrong of him, because he would know that, hey, why would I risk putting one of my best players in an emotional, social, and a public situation where now he has to go and respond. Yeah. And obviously that creates some type of disruption on the team, because if the running back does not feel like he's getting the support of management, what the heck is he? Why does he need to perform? It's almost like if I come in from work and I got the check and the wife says, "Give me the check, or you can stay outside." How would that make me feel? It's probably not a very good example, but the point is that we want to feel respected, like Stephen A. Smith said. We want to feel like we belong here. You want us here. You say that we are a family. Well, guess what? Families don't choose who their brothers and sisters are. I understand that this is a family of convenience of sort, but they were selected from hundreds, if not thousands, of players available to them, and they were selected because that the team management thought that they presented the best opportunity for them to win. And so, with that being a long thought, I'm kind of in the middle on this because I'm, like I said, I'm thinking that there's a lack of respect in what he said, but yet if he really thought about what he said, he probably wouldn't want to say it again. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think he tried to recant the statement, saying he wasn't talking about Jonathan Taylor, but you mentioned his name, so I don't know. Let's continue to look at and see the rest of the comments here.
Let me say this, couple of things. I'm very, very thankful that Jim Irsay was on camera saying what he's saying. I personally am grateful, fellas, ladies, for two reasons. Number one, the first thing that came to my mind when I heard Jim Irsay say what he said, the nonchalant, dismissive, the way that he did it. The first thing that came to my mind is Washington Commanders, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson now being a part of the NFL ownership group, although a very small minority stake. Josh Harris, obviously the man with the big bucks, who paid over $6 billion to acquire this franchise. See, my dream is for the Irsays of the world. One of my dreams is for the Irsays of the world to be in a room with the Magic Johnsons of the world. Say that then.
What do you mean?
Be as dismissive then. Talk like that about African-American players like that. Do that. Now, I'm not trying to make it a race thing because I understand he could have said that about a white football player. Please don't get me wrong. But that's not who he was talking about. He was talking about Jonathan Taylor. So we're going to deal with it on that level, okay? This is why diversity is important. Being in that room, are you going to say that with the same aloofness, with the same dismissive tendencies that you exhibited on camera? Are you going to say that with Magic Johnson and others in that room, people that don't look like you but are around, are part of that culture and entrenched in that fabric? That's number one. Number two, Mr. Irsay, I hope you're listening to this. Jonathan Taylor can ball. We know that this is a brother that had, 1,800 yards rushing in 2021? We know what he can do with the football when he's on the field.
He was second in Offensive Player of the Year voting that year.
There you go. The brother is elite, okay? He produced for your franchise. I will remind you, we're not throwing shade on Andrew Luck for retiring. I mean, God bless him, and I hope he's well. But the point is, he walked away from the sport because the sport was so violent and it was just something that he was having a difficult time absorbing. You got a guy on your team that's ready to produce, that wants to go out there and play for you. He just wants to be fairly compensated. And you're basically telling him, bump him, and you're speaking with such a level of insensitivity. I would remind the owner that is Irsay, sir, you had your problems, You've had your battles with alcohol. You've had your battle with substance abuse.
I'm going to stop it right there.
On those issues,
Willie. So I agree with Steven. And to my point, I said what he said to Peyton Manning and even so what he said, and he went a little high level saying Magic Johnson. That's a great point. I'm not going to refute that. But just in the manner that he said it was just, it was disrespectful. And you would pick this, and like you said, I think you made a great point that you picked this person because you wanted him to be a part of your franchise. You wanted him to be a part of the family. You wanted him to come in to be a leader. And I think that's the most important thing when you bring someone and you're paying them the amount of money. But, the bigger thing is you're looking for that character. And I mean, this is somebody you're probably going to invite over to your house because you're playing at such a high level. And there's so much, attention and media coverage and everything that goes along with this player associated with your team and playing great and being excellent. So it's so much that goes around that. So I don't know, maybe Jim Irsay was having a bad day. And sometimes, when you drink, you say things that you shouldn't have said. You're on the golf course and you're on the golf course. So, but hey, alcohol sometimes bring the truth out of us. I'm not saying it was alcohol, but I'm just saying, hey, you're on the golf course. You know what you do. We drink beer and do things. And the media is so clever, I mean, they're just so strategic, to have a microphone out there while you're playing golf. You're in the sun. You're not drinking water out there. So, the media is great. And I appreciate, just what the media does. That's their job. And, hey, they have to be just as uncanny and witty and smart and they're trying to get, the storyline. So, that's what journalism is. They catch people at their weak moments. They catch them at their strong moments. But, so I won't belabor the issue, but I would just say, hey, let's have some respect for our players out here. Let's remember that they matter. They matter. They have families, and to come on, I would love to hear him say, you know what? He needs to apologize to Jonathan Taylor for the intention, if it was taken that way, and say, hey, I didn't mean to say it that way, but I truly apologize. And if that apology never comes, then I have to believe him at face value, that those players don't mean nothing to him, and they're just, and if this is true, the Colts will not have a good season. And they may not have a good season for a couple seasons because of that statement. So I would take humility over this if I was the owner and say, hey, I made a mistake.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily just say that privately. I would say it publicly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He needs to make a public apology and say the intent of this rebuttal, because he needs a rebuttal right now. And also, hey, make sure you subscribe to that, hit the like button, and ring that bell so you can get the notifications. Please subscribe to the rebuttal. This is Chris and Willie, and we talking about the running backs paid fair or unfair. And he needs to make a public apology and make it, because not only the Colts the Colts season is hanging on that, even though they have this new quarterback that they just drafted, so I don't know. I mean, I think it's a lot of pressure on him. I mean, what about their feelings? How about the African Americans on this team? Not just Jonathan Taylor. We're not even talking about, man, do I matter?
Well, that's the other thing about this whole ordeal is when you say these types of things publicly, other players hear it and they're thinking the same thing that you're thinking. Do I really matter to this team? Am I part of the solution, or am I just someone here grabbing a check, albeit a small check? In NFL.
Well, hey, we're gonna wrap this up, but I just want to remind everybody, please subscribe to this channel. Me and Willie and I have some great content. We're gonna be talking all season long. We're gonna have watch parties. We're gonna have a lot of things coming up. We're gonna be giving you our personal 50-year, 40-year experience about football, breaking it down, baby, giving you our opinions from everyday working guys. We're on here on the Rebuttal. We got Willie here, Willie Zimmerman, and we're going to be coming to you all angles. We're going to have other guests on the show. And also make sure, please help out this podcast and make sure you donate if you can to the podcast. And I'll put up the sign at the bottom. But hey, Willie, I enjoyed it. Do you have anything to say before we close out on this show?
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Come on, Willie. I thought we trying to close the show. You trying to give us a go Cowboy. What's up with that? We don't do the Cowboys on here.
Yeah, you said that I have anything else to say. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh, man, you trying to open up another can of worms on the show, and we trying to close the show out. Go Cowboys. I can't believe you said that, man. Hey, like I said, please come on the show. We're going to close out, and make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button, baby. And we're going to be back. But we closing out. Peace. And make sure you matter. Trust the process. Put God first. And subscribe to this channel, baby. Here we go. Peace out, Willie.
Bye.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can hear Christopher-Hugh clap back at all these jacks on the internet. The Rebuttal.